Good evening, everyone. Friday night pint, Graham. You love this time of the week, don't you, mate?
I do, mate. I do. It's the highlight of my week at the minute.
Dan, you all right, mate?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Actually, forgot to go get my drink. Actually, I literally just come off a Tottenham show now and straight into this.
You can run and go and get it while I do the intro if you want, mate.
Yeah, all right, I might do that.
Go on, you go and get it. But as you can see, we are two people down tonight. Nicky and Scott are not here. Nicky might be joining later, but we are joined by a very special guest tonight. It's Sky Sports' very own Michael Bridge, who also he is a Tottenham fan. So I thought we'd mix it up a bit tonight. So be kind to him in the chat, please. He's a really decent bloke who speaks very highly of West Ham. But Michael, thank you so much for joining us tonight, mate.
Absolute pleasure, guys. Absolute pleasure. Good to see you.
How you been anyway, mate? How are things for you during this lockdown?
Yeah, I mean, January was really busy, working on the transfer shows, and then it peters off a little bit, but still working from home. Press conferences are done via Zoom, as you all know at the moment. I also work on the darts, which starts again in April. The Premier League starts again, unfortunately behind closed doors, so we're going to do a number of fixtures, hopefully around April time, and then hopefully get some fans back for that. Doing some boxing as well for a month or so's time, but yeah, everything's obviously, as you all know, completely different at the moment.
Yeah, I was watching the darts, the World Championship, and that's one sport where you need fans, just as you do football and boxing as well. And the sooner we can get fans back to these, the better.
I'll tell you what, right? I was in, I did Usyk Chisora, and there was only about 20 of us in the arena, and the punches. I cannot believe how loud they were when there's no crowd. Like with a heavyweight fight as well, Chisora and Usyk just totally going at it. Really stood out for me. Just the noise it makes in the ring when there's actually no crowd. But yeah, bring it on. Bring the fans back.
Makes you wince a bit, doesn't it, when you hear it? You sort of go,
totally. I honestly couldn't believe it. Honestly, but yeah,
there's no better sound than two heavyweights knocking 10 bells out of each other.
No,
I love it.
I know. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, I'm sure you boys are the same. I mean, I'll never take going out for granted again.
Definitely not. Just quickly before we get into the show, the West Ham community on Twitter will have seen this week. I'm going to put this banner across, and I'm going to leave it on all show. We are raising money for Isla Caton at the moment. She needs the money more than any now. So for those that don't know, Baz Cox is very much involved. Loads of West Ham fans have come together, especially over the last couple of days. They wanted to raise 10 grand today. They actually raised 11 grand, I think it was yesterday. So when they started today, I think the last total I see it on was about 17.5 grand or something like that. So I know people usually send us super chats and things like that, but don't do that for us tonight. If you can, there's a link in the description below. Just give anything you can. The campaign is £1 for Isla. Just donate £1 or anything you can just to help little Isla out. And I'll keep mentioning this through the show just to keep you all going. But welcome to everyone in the chat as well. I can see there's quite a few people in now. People excited to see you, Michael. We don't get this loving, mate. and we're West Ham. I don't get it. What's going on?
I think the abuse is going to come my way any minute, right? Honestly,
we won't let that
mate. Feel free, Michael, to give it back. Don't feel like you have to be nice to us because it's our show. We don't worry. We like a bit of. I've been having Spurs fans like coming at me left, right, and centre on Twitter today because I tweeted that because they obviously Kane didn't play yesterday, right? So Spurs fans loves to throw this thing at us about it being our cup final. So I tweeted out saying Spurs obviously arresting Kane for their cup final on Sunday, right? As a little joke. And the Spurs fans have been, I can't believe how many have been coming at me. It's been brilliant. It's been a laugh. But the cup final thing, that is one I had to, because of the change of fortunes, it's like, right, now I'm going to throw out the cup final thing. Because that always amused me.
You love the abuse, Dan. You love the abuse.
Yeah, listen, bring it on. Bring it on.
It's weird because obviously I've had to be at Chelsea and West Ham for work reasons, and like every Chelsea game I used to go to, Chelsea West Brom, Chelsea Southampton, the whole ground would sing about Tottenham for 90 minutes, and I was just like, what's going on? I mean, the West Ham Spurs thing, a lot of it's sort of an East London, an Essex thing. But you don't get it at West Ham Arsenal. You don't get it at Chelsea Arsenal. It's so weird, I mean, Spurs Arsenal. Look, taking away my work hat, that's the one that gets my heart pumping. But I'm not gonna. West Ham Tottenham's always a great game. I mean, it was on Sky in the early 90s, the mid 90s, the late 90s. They're great games.
I think for me, with a Tottenham game, it is because I've got so many mates that are Tottenham fans.
Yeah,
it's good that you have that banter. But for me, I take it as I want to win every London derby. I don't want to lose to Chelsea, Arsenal, Palace. You know, well, when we play them, we have to get relegated to play them. But Millwall, that's our main rivals. We love winding up Tottenham fans, but they love winding up as well. It's a great derby. It is a good game.
On that point, what Michael was talking about as well, about singing about Tottenham or Chelsea when you're not playing them. I never agree with that. Like if we're playing, like you said, Southampton, I don't like us to be singing about Tottenham or singing, about Chelsea. I don't see the point in it. I just think it's a bit silly. Yeah, you know what I mean, it makes you look a bit bad.
Well, when Chelsea come out, they come out to Liquidator and they go, da 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 da. We hate Tottenham, Chelsea. And like when that draw, the Battle of the Bridge, and Terry was just so happy that
we usually sing along to that, and it goes like, "Fuck off, Chelsea, West Ham."
but you agree that there's no real sort of animosity with Arsenal. Like there's never really. But look, put it aside. I think I enjoy. I think West Ham Spurs games are good. And even as I say, it's always picked up by a broadcaster for that reason. But Sundays is such a tough game. Really, I mean, I know we're going to go into it in a minute, but I mean, look, as I say, I've had some nice messages from West Ham fans because of what I said on Sky. But look, I'm going to be honest. You are having a good season. I know you go into it shortly with questions, but there's a structure there. The manager's doing a good job. You're bringing in good players. I'm not going to come on there and say you're not, So, bring it on. I think it's going to be a really good game.
I'll tell you what, I'm starting to warm a little bit to the Spurs fans now. You got me going there. I've got a little tear going there.
No, don't worry. You're interacting with some others that will bring you back down. Yeah. Go into my mentions.
Right, well, I'm saying to Ryan today, because obviously working from home, I'm tapping away on the computer. I've got my phone up, got YouTube, and I was watching West Ham Tottenham games from like the 80s and very early 90s.
Yeah.
And watching it, I'm thinking, if that was tomorrow, it'd be like 5 red cards apiece.
Yeah.
Like some of the tackles. I think there was one, it was like Golden Jury got sent off.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And 2 yellows, but like both tackles could have been straight reds, and there was other and I'm like, that's proper football.
I like the animosity, That's what I like about football, is when you can go into a game and there is a little bit of rivalry. You don't like the other team, you don't like their fans, and it raises the stakes a little bit because you want to have those bragging rights. Whereas everyone was all friends and things like that. I think it's not as good.
That's what it's about at the end of the day, isn't it? Bragging rights. You always work with someone who supports someone you're playing, especially like London derby. So you want to walk in on a Monday morning, stroll in work and say, thanks for the 3 points and all that. It's the way it is. But before we sort of preview the Tottenham game, Michael, I want to talk a little bit about West Ham because obviously when you're on Sky Sports, I know you do speak quite highly of West Ham. I think you was more excited when we signed Jesse Lingard than some of our fans. I remember watching it on Sky Sports News Live, and when we was linked with Jesse Lingard, and you was getting me excited for it.
Well, I mean, not gonna, pay off in it, Look, the reason why was because it was a no-lose situation. Financially, it was only about £1 million, drop in the ocean. He is someone desperate to play football. It didn't seem a bad deal any way round. Lingard's desperate to play football. He's not on bad terms with Manchester United. I just didn't see the issue. Anything for me is that West Ham fans, I mean, imagine him in you fans there Sunday, him scoring. He'll be a crowd favourite already. Kids will want Lingard on the back. But the problem is, it's not a loan with any option or views to buy. You get attached to players. What is it, 2 or 3 games already, and he's already looking at a real player. That's what I would say. And that's why I would say it was a no-brainer for. I think
it was credit to Lingard as well. Like when he made his debut against Aston Villa, that we got 90 minutes out of him, and he looked like he'd been playing all season. So it's credit to him how fit he's kept himself.
Yeah, but it was even at Man U. Even though when they went back after the first lockdown, he was still one of the fittest players there.
Yeah,
he's looked after himself. His
energy levels are crazy.
Yeah.
But what do you sort of make of West Ham this season so far? David Moyes has got us playing some, good football. We're winning games. We're finding the right players. We're strengthened where we needed to, and it's just all coming together.
I think Ryan, credit where credit's due. I think that. Souček. He's like his Fellaini from the first year at Everton, first 2 or 3 years. You got Kufau as well. What a player! You've got the attacking midfielders. You've got Jared Bowen. You've got Declan Rice, who's playing well. He looks like a leader now. He could be. And now Lampard's left Chelsea. None of this Chelsea constant links. That'll go. That should be dead by now. You've got some great forwards options. Ben Rama. I didn't see that happening. The thing that would worry me if I was a West Ham supporter is if the weeks come on and Antonio still has these niggles. Are you going to be light up front? That would be my worry if you are going to get a Europa League place or Champions League. The advantage you've got is that Tottenham, if they stay in the Europa League, Arsenal or Man United, Leicester, these Europa League games catch up on you. They really do. And that might play into West Ham's, might play into your hands. But what might not play into your hands is maybe the lack of strikers. You'll know more than me, but I just feel it's a bit of a risk relying on Antonio, who, let's be honest, isn't even an out-and-out striker.
No.
I don't think we haven't got an out-and-out striker at the club, have we, at the moment?
No.
Bowen played up front for Hull, but he's more of a winger.
Yeah. Not in the seniors, not in the senior side of things, we haven't. No. And that has been, Michael, that's been like our biggest weakness as well, is our finishing a lot of the times. Like there's times where, Man United last year and Chelsea as well are both at home. We was like all over them. We was just all over them, and we was creating chance after chance, and we just could not stick it in the back of the net. Second half comes, we concede 3. And that is, I think, my big worry going into this, if it's going to be a similar situation where we're up for it, but we just can't get it in the back of the net.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you look like there's a bit of a structure there. And, you look at David Moyes, who's proved so many people wrong. In a funny way, if you look at David Moyes, you think, well, he would have never turned down the Man United job. But I don't think many people would have come in and done Fergie left it with an average squad, but he won the league. It was quite incredible. And he sort of had to work his reputation from scratch again, which, looking back on it, doesn't seem fair, because he did a great job with Everton. And maybe he could have, arguably, he probably deserved a full-time job with West Ham before they went for Pellegrini. So he's proved a lot of people wrong. And I just look at that team at the moment, and I'm sure you boys will like the fact when he says, well, we're just, there's another level with these players. There's another level. Because when the season started, you lost 2-0 at home to Newcastle. I genuinely thought you were going to be bottom 8, bottom 7, bottom 6.
I think most people did. I think most of us did.
I did, yeah. I think the Moyes has got us looking a lot more fitter. We run for 90 minutes now. We're under Pellegrini. After 65 minutes, half our players look like they couldn't even walk, let alone run. Yeah. But that's one thing that he changed, and he's brought in the right players. But one signing that sort of took us all by surprise during the summer has turned out to be one of the signings of the season is Craig Dawson. He's been, since he's come into the team, he's been unbelievable. And we all said it when we signed him. We wasn't sort of slating him. We were just underwhelmed by the signing because we was linked with the £30 million signings, and then we get someone in from Watford who's just been relegated on loan.
Yeah. And Watford fans were saying he was their worst player as well. They was
Nicky said he's the worst player he's ever seen, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. All the Watford fans were like laughing their heads off. You've just signed our worst player. Cheers, and we were like,
West Brom fans were laughing as well, and I was like, I bet they wish they had him now. But what a revelation he's been under David Moyes, playing alongside. I know Ogbonna's out now, but it seems like whoever he plays against, he looks so comfortable.
This is it, isn't it? When you look settled. That goes a long way, doesn't it? Chelsea sacked Lampard, they were 10th, now they're in the top 4. Still the same players. But sometimes it doesn't work at a particular club. They're human beings at the end of the day. It doesn't matter how much they earn. If they're just not, he obviously feels at home there. Something is clicking. He's enjoying himself, and that goes a long way. Like Lingard's enjoying himself again. If Dele Alli starts playing again, if he's enjoying himself, he'll start scoring goals again.
I think the morale and the team spirit is big for that, isn't it? Yeah. That's the big thing.
All the players are playing with a smile on their face at the minute. Like everyone, like last year, everyone was sort of shoulders down, head down. It looked like it was a bit of a slog for them. But this year, everyone's playing with a smile on their face. It looked like they're enjoying it.
I think
are you surprised as fans though? Because in September, I was listening to people from West Ham, and David Sullivan openly said he did bid for, is it Tarkowski from Burnley? And it's like, we can't afford him. But I thought, this is not good. You know, it was so, you know, has it surprised you boys that you are where you are and how consistent you've been? Because it's surprised me. I'm an outsider.
Yeah, I think we all knew that we had the talent in the team. We was just missing something. We was missing key, like someone like Thomas Souček has come in, and he's just allowing Declan Rice that free role a bit more. And we've just got the right players come in. And I've always sort of backed David Moyes, and the boys will tell you I've been one of the ones that have always sort of backed him since the beginning, like give him a chance. I feel like he can turn it around, and he has. And it's nice to see that there are West Ham fans now that are sort of changing their mind on David Moyes and sort of willing to give him a chance. Sometimes we have, like, especially when we play the bigger teams, that's when we sort of feel a bit let down by Moyes because we don't go for these games like the Liverpool, the United. But,
which was the same at Everton for him as well.
We're beating the teams around us that we should be beating, and that's the difference this season. And we're seeing out games, and we're showing that when we lose games, we bounce back quickly. We don't go 2 or 3 or 4 games without picking up a result, and that's the difference this season. And I think it comes down to the backroom staff as well. Kevin Nolan, Stuart Pearce, you know, they're the sort of people that put their arm around players like Dawson and Rice and Lingard as well, and say, look, you're loved. You know, go out there and show them what you can do.
Yeah, it's a big. People who've seen the video. I was against bringing him back. You know, this season. I know I wasn't really rating his first time around. He frustrated the life out of me. You know, Stoke at home when they were the worst team in the league. You know, we went and defensively, and I was not thrilled when we signed him back. But you know, I've been pleasantly surprised. Now, the next thing for me, and I was saying this on the Spurs podcast, I'm going to mention the same old Spurs podcast. And I said, the big thing for me is I'm enjoying this season and it's great to see where we can get, but I'm really interested in next season because we've been here before where we've had like this one good season and we're back in a relegation battle. Yeah. Like for us as a club to really turn a corner, I want to see us back. You know, if we finish 5th this season, I want us finishing at least 8th next season and try and staying in that hunt, because there's no point in having this one good season and then being back in the crap next season. So that's the big challenge for Moyes and the club itself and the board.
Well, the thing is, Dan, as you said, the last season at the Bowling, we had a great season, and then the year after we didn't build on it. And then Pint ended up leaving the club, and we signed players on free transfers that never fitted into our system. And since then we haven't finished in the top half. So if we I'll be honest, if we finish anything, the position we're in now, if we finish any lower than 8th, I'll be disappointed. I really would. But if you'd have said to me at the beginning of the season, you're going to finish 10th, I'd have snapped your hand off for it.
Mate, I predicted us to finish 18th in the season predictions. So.
I said about 14th, I think. But the thing is, this is like you go back through the years, like even in the 80s, you know, like 86, nearly won the league, and then 3 years later, we're relegated. You know,
Michael, we
have one good season in 10, and we never build on it.
Michael, I just want to say, I'll introduce you to Graham. He's the oldest person in the channel, so he will still refer to the 70s, the 80s. I think sometimes he even goes back to the Thames Ironworks days.
I'll tell you though, Ryan, that is a nice retro shirt you got there. What's that, 91, 92, is it? 92,
93.
It's a 92 one, isn't it? Yeah, 92, yeah.
It's a replica one. I didn't want this size in 92.
I was to say, yeah.
I was about 6. I mean, so talk to us a bit about Tottenham as well. I mean, I will give Tottenham a little bit because you've taken time to come on our channel tonight. We know you're a big Tottenham fan. Good win away in Europe last night. Obviously, Harry Kane was rested. So yeah, I mean, how are things at Tottenham at the moment? Because the way I look at it, when I speak to a few of my Tottenham mates, I think most of them are sort of don't like Mourinho. And I remember when you signed Gareth Bale, and I remember saying it on this show when he signed, I didn't think it was right for Tottenham, if I'm honest. Really? He's a big name, but I just didn't think it was right because with Mourinho, he doesn't like bigger egos than him, and he likes to sort of teach them a lesson like, no, I'm the main man. And I feel a bit sorry for Gareth Bale because he's got talent and he shouldn't be sitting on the bench.
It was funny because I was the one, I broke it on air, and I got excited, and everyone was texting me, some non-Spurs fans, wow, Son, Kane and Bale. Typical Tottenham, too good to be true. It hasn't really worked out so far. He played really well last night. He scored a really good goal, but it was a poor team. I mean, for a knockout round, I think that was quite a favourable draw. So I don't want to sort of read too much into last night's performance. The good thing for me is that Kane is now listening to his body, because he's had a lot of bad injuries before, and he's like, you know, if he has another bad one, it could affect him. He would. So he didn't have to travel last night. I mean, there were whispers that he'd got injured again, but he was left at home. If it was maybe a bigger, better opponent, he probably would have played. But you're right. I mean, fans are very, very torn on Mourinho, and I think I'll probably go as far as say the ground would be pretty toxic. I think at times, if there were fans with the style of play, especially against Chelsea a few weeks ago, it was so poor and quite embarrassing just how much Spurs missed Kane. I think the problem is like what we talked about West Ham, about the good recruitment. Is the bad recruitment Tottenham have had. They've not replaced Vertonghen. They didn't replace Dembele very well. They didn't replace Eriksen, who gives you 12 goals and 12 assists a season. So he was our kind of Bruno Fernandes, who we should have signed. So we don't have that anymore. Dele Alli's not the Dele Alli of 2 years ago. Gareth Bale hasn't been the Gareth Bale we expected. So we're relying on Son and Kane, and they've scored 75% of our goals.
Who was the boy that you signed last January? The one that we was linked with, was that Fernandes? What was his name?
Gedson Fernandes.
Yeah, I'm so glad you signed him, because we would never have got Thomas Souček if we would have signed him.
Oh, it was all done because he was apparently knew a lot of your academy boys, Portuguese boys. It was all done, and then Sissoko got injured last minute, so we steamed him, but. Totally. I mean, he might hopefully come back to haunt me, but totally the wrong player for this league. He just he played like 2 games in a year. He's a Galatasaray now, but we were looking at Bruno Fernandes. I mean, what a regret that is.
Yeah, so, I think we were looking at him at one point when they were going through Sporting were going through that problem, wasn't it? Financial problems, and it was him and. We was
linked with Bruno Fernandes, but David Sullivan bid for Frank Bruno.
Yeah, I mean the thing is with Bale, I don't know if it's a case of that he just needs time because of how it's been going in Spain with him and not getting the game time and being left out in the cold weather. He just really needs that consistent run of games, and I think it's hard when you're coming into a team like Tottenham who want to be finishing in the Champions League. You're not really getting that time. You have to hit the ground running. And I think that's probably difficult for him, but maybe there is still hope for him because the guy is still a world-class player.
Yeah, the thing is, when you look at fully fit, if you've got Bale, Son and Kane fully fit, that's 3 are up there with the best in the world, not just in Europe, in the world.
Do you know what I think it is? I think it's a fear of your body breaking down. I see it in him. Sometimes he's just got this little thing. He doesn't want to do a burst. He doesn't want to go on a run. He's got this fear about picking up an injury because with Gareth, when he gets the odd thigh injury or something, it's always a 6-week job. I mean, yesterday he scored a really nice goal. It doesn't matter who the opposition was. It was still a very nice goal. I've heard a couple of whispers that he's going to start on Sunday, so that'd be interesting. We've got Lucas Moura, Eric Lamela, and Steven Bergwijn, but none of them contribute anywhere near enough in terms of goals and assists to nail down that place. So I wouldn't be surprised if he starts. I've heard a couple of whispers that he will. So that would be interesting. But look, when people, there are actually some Spurs fans who have said terminate the loan now. It's not worked out. And against Brighton, he sort of practically walked himself off, which didn't look good. However, he played well last night, as did Dele Alli. And if Spurs stay in the Europa League, they've got the Carabao Cup final as well. There's still a lot to play for. A few weeks ago, everyone was saying, "Oh, season." They are 9th, granted, but if they get a good result Sunday and they've got Burnley on Sunday again next week, you can see with the league with Chelsea, and it changes quite quickly.
That's why I think you should still give Jose a little bit more time to the end. In fact, to the end of the season, because he was brought in to win trophies. You're still in that Europa League. You're still in that. You've got a Carabao Cup final. I think even if you guys maybe don't get that top 4, but you maybe win a Europa League and you win a Carabao Cup, mission accomplished. You know what I mean?
The thing is, if Tottenham was to finish 12th but won the Carabao Cup and the Europa League, they're getting the Champions League anyway. And do you really think Tottenham fans are going to care about finishing 12th when they've just won 2 trophies? I mean, me personally, I hope that don't happen from a West Ham side.
No, I mean, Arsenal fans just can't. They just love giving it about trophies, and go on, mate. It does get to fans. Spurs fans, because they're like, just win a trophy now. I mean, that will do it. However, if it was 12th and a Carabao Cup, then it's like it's still not a good season in the league.
No.
But Europa League, Champions League football, you're talking about a different kettle of fish straight away.
I think it's the football that you've been playing that has made it a hard thing to swallow for the Tottenham fans. It's like if things were going well when you was playing that football and that pragmatic style, you could take it like when you were up there. But when things aren't going well, when you're playing so defensively against sides you should maybe assert yourselves on, that's what I think makes it really difficult and hard to be a bit more patient.
You're a Tottenham expert. Don't get me on.
The thing is, with Mourinho, it's functional football, isn't it?
Secret Tottenham fan.
I always said Dan was a closet Tottenham fan. Go on, Gray. Sorry, mate. Go on.
No, I was going to say, like with Mourinho, like when he was at Chelsea, when he was at AC, Inter Milan, that is functional football. It's not going to set the world alight, but 9 times out of 10, it'll bring you a trophy, which is what a lot of fans care about.
Yeah, I mean, look, we love Pochettino. Like Pochettino was great. You know, we had 4 years of being second, and playing phenomenal football, but ultimately didn't get over the line and win something. I mean, still, I've been in the Champions League final. I mean, we blew that final. You know, it was a bad final because it was like a month after the end of the Premier League. Both teams were not fit. But even so, I never would have thought Tottenham would be in the Champions League final. So he did a great job, and it's like, oh yeah, but what's he won? Well, it's not always as cut and dry as that, but we know why Mourinho's been brought in, and you know it is time to win something now. And yeah, easy final, Man City. So
I'll be honest with you, I think
he's got a good record against Guardiola, though. He has got a good record against Guardiola.
I think one of the main reasons that they brought Mourinho in was to boost that documentary they done on Amazon, because he's just box office, isn't he? So, but now look, listen, Mourinho wins your trophies.
Yeah.
That is the thing, and that's why he has to do it, because there's only so long you can really persist with it, because he's not like a Pochettino where you can look at him and give him like a long-term project and think, right, this is a guy we're building for the future. You want him for short-term success, you know, and he didn't do it last season. This is the season he has to get something. Otherwise, you're thinking, we're paying him all this money. Why have we got this guy here? And that is the thing. Like this season, he has to do it. Otherwise, all of that suffering that Spurs fans have through that football is for nothing.
Look at Dan. Look at Dan trying to not smile when he says that. Suffering.
Suffering of it.
Before we move on to sort of talk about this,
Dan.
Yeah, before we go to talk about this weekend's game and get predictions and that, one game I want to talk about. I've seen a few comments in the chat. We want to talk about the 3-3 draw. 3-0 up with 8 minutes to go. Michael, you must have had your feet up. 3 points, happy days, and then what happened? The Tottenham collapse.
I'll tell you what, mate. I think it's affected our season mentally. You know, there's games after that.
To our ears.
Michael really wants to swear.
Yeah, but look, I'll tell you what. You know, you got Lanzini breaking COVID rules with Spurs players. You know, so no, I mean, if you remember, Gareth Bale went round 3 West Ham players, and then he did the easy bit. He missed the easy bit. I don't know if you remember. It was 3-0.
Yeah.
Bale went, oh my God, this is amazing! What a goal! Oh, he's missed, and then
it killed the game off. Yeah,
4-0, 5 minutes to go, and then I don't know what happened. I mean, look, that Lanzini goal was unbelievable, and thank God none of you gits are in the corner.
I'll be honest though, if fans were there that day, that probably would have ended up 5 or 6-0. It's just the players' heads, you know, they just kept going, and we got that 1 goal back through Balbuena, and then you're thinking, all right, 3-1 ain't that bad, and then the own goal, and you think, 3-2, it don't look too bad. And then you're thinking, come on. And then the Snodgrass whips that ball in, it comes out, edge of the box. I think it was it Harry Winks got blocked off by sort of Ogbonna. Great play from Ogbonna, by the way. And then Lanzini's hit one, and he loves a goal in a London derby, Lanzini. It was like a postage stamp, top corner, good night. And you know what? I was celebrating But I was thinking to myself, VAR is going to rule this out. I know it. I know they're going to find something.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, it was just it was only because I felt sick. You know, people who do watch our watch-alongs will remember. You know, I'm sitting there and it's at halftime, and I'm like, I have to sit here on this watch-along. People are watching me, and I just feel miserable. I don't want to talk. You know, because you go into the game feeling like not necessarily you're going to win, but it's going to be a good game. Like your team's going to be up for it, and it's going to be competitive. And you guys in that first half were just like unreal. And we were completely the opposite. So I felt sick.
First 20 minutes of that game, Tottenham were unreal. You know, they was 3-0 up, and I was thinking to myself, I was thinking the worst. I was thinking this could be like 6 or 7 here. The way this is carrying on.
And I mean, like one of our best signings, who's out Sunday, is Region. He just bombs down that left, and he's a dream for Kane because he just pinpoint cross, and I think he actually set up at least one of them that day.
He did.
And we're going to really miss him Sunday. But yeah, look, credit where it's due. I mean, I do think it's affected them mentally because Tottenham, they gave a goal away against Fulham late doors, and they've done it in other home games, and they did it against Wolves away. It's a problem there. And the issue with Tottenham is that they don't have a central defender who Mourinho totally trusts. It's all well and good having the Mourinho setup, but he had it with a great Chelsea back four, a great Inter Milan back four. These guys make mistakes. And this is what you'll probably see Sunday. It doesn't matter what combination it is, they make mistakes.
The amount of stick that we got after that game saying, oh, look at West Ham celebrating a 3-0 draw. I thought, I don't care what team you are, when you're 3-0 down with 8 minutes to go and you get back. And let's be honest, if there was another 5 minutes, we could have nicked that game.
I mean, look, there's been games and times when West Ham have beaten Spurs and I've been, come on, calm down, lads. But that one, no problems whatsoever. That's you go through.
You're thinking about calm down. Are you referring to the one where we was the first team to win at the new stadium?
No, that one. Do you know what? I had a proper night out that night. Get my head away. I went to Pop World in Chelmsford. No, I mean that one. That was a really bad performance. Really poor performance. You played well that day. No, I'm just thinking of the year where the 3-0. I'll never hear the end of it. The 3-0. Rafael Morrison, who, I was reading an article about him today saying in 90% of his life he regrets. Really sad. I see
that interview he done with Rio the other day, and it was sad to watch because I sort of felt sorry for him. He's such a talent. I mean, we said it the other week when Alex Song played for West Ham, and he done an interview, and he said, who's the most technically gifted player you've ever played with? And he said Rafael Morrison. And I thought, he played with Messi, and he's saying Morrison. It was just unreal. I feel so sorry. It was a great interview as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that goal, obviously, he scored against you guys. It was unbelievable. He just took the absolute mick.
We weren't expecting it that
celebrating for it when he.
Yeah, Big Sam played with no striker that day. And it was a great day. We've had some great battles down the years. Great battles.
Great games. Absolutely great games. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it'd be a good game Sunday.
Do you think that you're going to go for it? Because I was speaking to a Tottenham fan, and he thinks that you will go attacking, and it's not a game that you're going to play that sort of more defensive or conservative style. Do you feel like that Jose is going to sort of take the shackles off and unleash the team?
I think he's noticed after the last few weeks that it's the best form of defence for us. Even yesterday against the poor side, we sort of let them back in again and they get a penalty. And in the league, you've seen it last few weeks. West Brom, we attack, we win 2-0. Everton, we gave a good go. We'd end up losing 5-4. Again, defensive mistakes. But I think that even though Europa League makes you tired, I think that came at the right time because Bale needed a goal. Dele played well. Kane's had a rest. Son had 45 minutes. So it might have actually helped the team. It's a wait and see, but no, to answer your question, I do think they'll probably go for it a bit more. I think it'll be the game of the day. I'd probably take a draw at the moment, but I do think that they will go for it. They won't sit back because I think he's realised that one of these lot's going to make a mistake.
Yeah, I think it's a must win for must win for us as well, but it's a must win for Tottenham because if we win, it's a 9-point gap. But if you win, it's only 3 points with a game in hand. So it's an important game for Spurs, So listen, Harry Kane has got a great record against West Ham. Son has got a great record against West Ham, and them two worry me because even when we play a poor Spurs side, They always seem to turn up, and they can destroy you like that. Them two players.
Thing is, mate, they do against everyone. Like, I'm not being funny. Like, who doesn't Kane score against? He destroys Arsenal. He does it to everyone. I've
always said I'll put Kane in that world-class bracket. I do.
There's something about this country that always likes to have a pop at someone when they're, look, I know we have a banter, we know we have a laugh, but like, I know he's a genuinely nice guy. He's a family, but like, sometimes I just don't get this country, with the way they just like slaughter players. I just don't get it. But look, I get it. Rival club don't like rival players. I get that completely. But yeah, I mean, he does do well against West. It was actually Mourinho's first game, wasn't it, at the London Stadium last year?
And you've got quite a good record at the London Stadium as well.
Oh yeah, I mean,
you've beaten us more times than we've beat you there. So
we made a Carabao Cup game. We won 3-1.
Yeah, you won there 1-0 the year before last. I think it was 1-0. You won 3-2 there last year. We obviously, the first game we played you there, we beat you 1-0 when Lanzini scored.
That was another time when Tottenham were sort of going for the league at that point, when it was similar. I know we say that we ended their title chase, and they say they weren't really in the title chase. I know that's a back and forth thing, but I remember that one.
Well, Chelsea did the same the year before, and they like finished 10th, but they were banging on about because they drew against us. But we blew it the week before at home to West Brom, drew 1-1, so it was practically gone anyway. But yeah, I mean, Sunday. I just don't know. I don't know. I really don't.
It's hard to predict. It's really hard.
I think it'll be. To be honest, I think it'll be a draw. The thing that worries me is as well as we played against Sheffield United going forward in the week, we're given 2 or 3 good chances that I think if Son or Kane are in the end of those, they're in.
I think whatever midfield wants it more wins the game. I think that's where it's going to be won or lost. I mean, Rice and Souček, we've got to make use of our corners and free kicks because that's where I think we can hurt Spurs at the back.
Yeah, I agree.
But we've got to be so defensively on it on Sunday as well, because when Tottenham get that ball and knock it about, and they will have probably more than the ball than us. We just got to try to win that ball back.
And it's
Lingard, give him that free roll. Antonio, I've heard that he's back. I don't know whether he's going to start. It's a bit of a risk to start him, but if he's fully fit, give him a go because he loves playing against Spurs.
And you talk about that midfield, they've got Ndombele and Højbjerg as well. Them two players have been.
That's what I'm saying. So that's going to be a great battle.
It's been a good signing, Højbjerg. It's been a good signing.
Yeah,
he's played well.
Be a good battle Sunday, I think. Be a good battle.
Yeah. This is the problem when you put I've got Antonio in my fantasy team, and it's like, it's weird, isn't it? Because I want him to do well.
I'm
checking the team news. Speaking to a few West Ham lads, he's fit for Sheffield United, and then all of a sudden he wasn't. So, but I suppose you've got to look after him, haven't you? You don't.
I think he was fit because he was doing a fitness test before the game, and they just didn't want to risk him. I think Moyes thought we've got enough to beat Sheffield United tonight. Let's save him for Tottenham because that is going to be the harder game.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I just think you're so well organised now. That's the West Ham people aren't really used to. That's what I'm not used to. I think which I think is a fair comment. A good back four, good midfield, and you've got exciting forwards. I just think are you missing an out striker? I mean, I think you need. I mean, Haller. I suppose I don't know what you boys think, but when I saw it, although you have lost money, but you're never going to get any more than that for him.
No.
I mean, so it's probably worth just taking that money.
I do feel like we could have probably got that money in the summer because, I think Ajax, he's such a good fit there. And I think that deal, you probably could have said to them, look, we haven't got a striker, we ain't got a replacement. Let's maybe revisit this in the summer. And I think he probably would have gone on to maybe score another, maybe 3 goals or something in the league. And then we could have revisited that. Even if you end up knocking off a couple of million, you've still got that player there because even when he weren't scoring, it was providing that sort of focal point. We were still winning games that he was playing in. So I do feel like if we weren't going to get another striker, we probably should have held on if we could have. And then probably still got that. But yeah, I can see why that is tempting, that money, obviously.
Let's have a few quick predictions then. Go on, Gray. What's your prediction, mate, for Sunday?
I'm going to go 2-all. I think it's going to be a
Desmond. He's gone for Desmond.
High scoring draw. I think. Yeah, going Desmond.
Dan, what are you going for, mate?
I've said 2-1, and I'm sticking to it. I think Souček will score, and I think if Antonio does play, he's been needing a goal, this year, and I think what better team to get it against than Tottenham, which he loves to score against them. So 2-1.
Well, I done the other day when I done my predictions. I done 3-1 West Ham. I just think on the corners is where we're gonna really hurt Tottenham. But I watched them last night. And yeah, I'm still going to stick to my 3-1, but I think it'll be a closer 3-1. It's probably like 2-1 with like last kick of the game, we get a third or something. But Michael, what's your predictions, mate?
I'm going with Graham, actually. I think it'd be a draw. I just hope it's no like VAR dominated game. I just hope it's like what a game this was. What a game, I don't like looking back and feeling aggrieved with decisions. It boils me, So I hope whoever deserves it. But no, I think it'll probably be a draw.
What are your thoughts, Michael, for like next season? Obviously there's a lot of talk about financial situation, potentially Son going, Kane going. There seems to be money-wise a lot of issues. Obviously, you've got the stadium to pay for. To maybe certain players getting restless because they want to win trophies. Are you concerned, like going forward to next season, of what's going to happen?
Well, the problem was that stadium was built with the hope and secure that there was going to be NFL matches galore, Anthony Joshua, 6 rugby league games, rock concerts, pop concerts, you name it. Money was streaming in. You had sponsors offering all sorts of money, and Tottenham waiting. We'll just wait here, and life, and this is an exaggeration, life has changed. So it's gone from something amazing to actually, at the moment, it's a burden. So when I say COVID has affected Tottenham more than most, please just check the financial figures. It's, because I think our game against City in the Champions League, they generated 4 million, which takes them right to the top clubs in terms of income. I mean, it's a lot of money to go there, but they've got problems there now because obviously with everything going on, it's all been cancelled. They probably wanted an NFL franchise there. Ultimately, there's an it's an NFL pitch. There's an NFL changing rooms. So yeah, it's concerning. I just feel that you will get something with a club. Clubs will look at Kane in the summer, and it'll be a wait and see. Really,
I think if anything, if a silly bid comes in like £150 million, I don't think Tottenham can turn that down. If I'm honest, it's just what Kane, because look, Rooney loved Everton, but he knew he had to leave Everton to win trophies. And if Tottenham go another season without winning trophies, how old's Kane now? Is he 28?
28.
He's had
28. So
6 ankle ligament injuries, and he's had a ruptured hamstring.
Yeah.
So
this is why I don't think you'll quite get that 150.
Oh, well, if we can afford him, we might as well have him then because we get a few injuries.
I tell you, he's phenomenal. Like he is phenomenal. Goals everywhere. He's got 13 league assists this year, something like that. So
he's changed his game a bit, and he drops deep now, doesn't he, to pick that ball?
He does, and he does it well. I just, my only criticism with him is he still goes in for challenges which he doesn't need to go in for, and that's where he'll get injured again. The good thing is that he's being sensible and saying, look, I won't. I just feel it a little bit today, my ankle a little bit. I'll stay at home. And Jose knows Sunday's a big game. Ninth does not look good, so they were sensible there. With Son, they are in contract negotiations. I don't know why it's still taking so long. I don't envisage a problem there. I've not been told there's a problem. But with Kane, look, what clubs? I mean, I mean, when people say about winning something though as well, it's like, Berbatov and Kane 5 months after they won the League Cup with us. I don't think it's necessarily. It's a Carabao Cup going to keep Harry Kane? I don't think so.
That's the thing. I think Aguero's getting older. I think that could be a signing for Man City.
Yeah, City are the only team that could really afford him. But Michael, while we've got you on, mate, you work for Spurs. Well, I don't know how much you can talk about this, but what's your thoughts and feelings on VAR? Would you get rid of it, or do you think it's good but it needs work?
I tell you what, boys. I've been lucky enough to have watched Spurs in the Champions League for a few seasons, and they've had VAR for a few seasons. And I can honestly tell you, I've never left a stadium, home or away, and gone, VAR's screwed that up. It seems to work better in Champions League. I mean, the Sterling one, when I thought we got knocked out, it was right. It was offside. It wasn't like an armpit or a pube. It was offside, and it just seems to work in other places. Whereas in England, we've got this real issue. We want it sorted out. I don't necessarily, it's not going to go away, so I don't want it taken away. I just want it improved. I want common sense. How did 2 referees deem Souček elbowed Mitrovic or whoever it was? Come on. We could all see, we could all be on our headsets now and see that's not technology.
Yeah, I mean,
wrong. It's referees.
There might be
overused.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with what happened after with all the death threats and things like that. It's just ridiculous.
No, of course.
But as you said, for him to take that, I mean, I thought he was just looking at the screen because Mike Dean could see Mike Dean on the screen, and he thought, "Oh, that's me on the screen," because we all, what Mike Dean's like. But I just think some of the referees over here, they haven't got, when you look at European referees, they've got a little bit about them, and they can change decisions. And I thought to myself, we've introduced foreign players to the Premier League, foreign managers, and it's worked. Why not try to get foreign refs from other countries? Because, I bet there's, and this is no disrespect to all the referees, but I bet there's some better referees in the second division in Bulgaria that can do a better job than some of our Premier League referees. And that's not being, I don't want to be disrespectful to them, but sometimes the decisions they make, you think to yourself, how? I mean, we all see that Souček, we could all see it. He's looked at that screen over 30 times. He's seen that replay, and he still sent him off. And I think when he's walking over to him, I think you can actually tell that he doesn't want to send him off, but he doesn't want to go against his decision.
Yeah, but the thing is, Lee Mason put him on the spot by saying there's something you need to look at. But I was saying to a mate of mine the other day about it. If you look at something often enough, you can see something that isn't there. So if he's looked at it that many times, after a couple of times, if you can't see anything different to what you've originally given, then your original decision's got to stand.
I think convoluted rules have been a big problem as well. The refs have been bad, but I think the rules have been. How many times have they had to change rules? We had that handball debacle earlier on where they had to sort of change it because of, I think you had
Newcastle.
Spurs Newcastle. That's the same thing, and because you had that issue. You had that situation where, it was the handball and they couldn't do anything about it. And we played, I think it was a similar time we played Arsenal. And Gabriel had the same handball against him, but it wasn't given. And there's like a confusion between players, between refs, I feel like, of what actually is the rules in some cases. What is offside? Where is offside? Yeah. Is it the sleeve? Is it... so I think the FA...
when they're getting out all the lines and that, and there's like a striker's offside because he's got a size 12 shoe. So what are people going to be doing next season? Signing strikers with size 4 feet because they know they're not going to be offside. It's getting ridiculous. We all grew up knowing the offside rule. So why change it as much as they're doing? It's ruining the game for me personally.
Yeah, I just think they overuse VAR. They use it for, rather than just clear and obvious errors. They're overanalyzing everything. They're overusing.
Well, that is the thing, isn't it? It was supposed to be clear and obvious, and you look at certain things, you think, well, is that a clear and obvious? It's fractionally offside, but is it clear and obvious? And it's so weird. Yeah, it's confusion. They probably don't know when they're really supposed to use it after time. It's from the top. I think there needs to be a reform. I like the idea of VAR, like Michael said. Like, decision right. That's what you want at the end of it. There's times where. Obviously, we've benefited from it greatly, and it's worked the way it's supposed to work. When it works out, it's supposed to work. You're like brilliant. Like we would have got shafted there, and that stops it. So, yeah, it is a tricky one.
But just quickly, I just want to say
to the, in Europe,
I just want to say to the live chat, we will get your comments in that in a minute. If you've got any questions for Michael as well, put them up. I've seen a few come up about Jim White. We won't read them ones out. Jim White ain't really loved with the West Ham fan base lately, Michael, with what he says on TalkSport. But look,
right. Oh, right. Yeah. I see. Right. Yeah.
He hasn't endeared himself to the fan base. So.
Yeah, but what I want to say, obviously, you work for Sky Sports and you've interviewed so many people, players, and you got a great job. And how long have you been doing it? Is it 13 years, something like that?
Yeah, 13 years now. Yeah.
See, I've done my research, Gray. See that?
Yeah.
But has there been one moment that stood out for you and you thought, wow? Like if you've interviewed someone or you've been invited to something or you've been there to witness something like the boxing or football match or whatever.
I think it's Joshua Klitschko at Wembley. I think
I was there.
Yeah, so you'll know then it was pretty spine tingling.
I think Cole Froch and Groves as well at Wembley.
Yeah,
you're right. Joshua Klitschko.
I'll tell you one thing, which I remember when I started as a runner, is about, as I say, 13 years ago. Bobby Robson died. It might have been a bit 12 or 11 years, can't remember, but there was so many tributes flooding in. I went home and I actually cried because it was just so. You don't really get the emotion because you're working, and you come home and you see all the tributes about. I've never met Bobby Robson or had an interview with him, but what a guy! So I mean, that always struck me. You know, it's little things like that. But I've been lucky to never have anyone. I've never had a particular manager where I'm like, he's been bang out of order to me. I've never really had any players who have been bang out of order. I think my criticism would be a lot of the time is that players are now so media trained. Tough game, 3 points, we go again. It's boring, you know. And that's sometimes why I like doing darts and boxing, because there's no filter. So, you know, I'm lucky when I say that I've not really had any bad experiences about that. In terms of West Ham, I mean, the press guys there, the really, really top guys. I always found Pellegrini difficult to interview because he was such an experienced guy. He didn't really seem to have a lot of time for the media. He'd sort of bat everything away. Whereas with Alan Pardew or Sam Allardyce or David Moyes, you get news lines. You know, you're having more of a chat. Any question you put to Pellegrini, any sort of twist or any sort of like, oh, if I go this way, he might give me something. You never got anything. He should have been a cricketer because he'd bat everything away. You know, So from a West Ham point of view, I found him quite difficult, but a gentleman, but quite difficult.
Have you ever had any dealings with like Klopp? Because I know I'm interested what you think about, because he comes up in a lot, doesn't he? Like where he sort of has a bit of a pop at the interviewers, and they'll ask him a question, and you know, from my perspective, you think, well, it's their job, you know, like they want to know about that, and he'll get a little bit testy with them. I don't know if you've ever been in that situation with him or know anyone.
I haven't, but I think the one you're talking about is with Des Kelly, BT. They had Brighton away, and he had a pop at them. I get it from Tottenham fans. It's like, why did you put us on today at Sunday? Like, me personally, like, I don't do the fixtures, you know, the clubs and the police, everyone it comes together. You know, it's like, you know, you'll see as well, every club thinks there's an agenda against them in the media. But I mean, with Klopp, I mean, it was Des Kelly kind of pretty much stood up to him. He's like, sorry, Jurgen, you're wrong here. And it was like, wow, fair play. Because I mean, 90% of people, and maybe even me, I don't know, would have probably crumbled under it. And some managers do come across a lot better in the media than others. It's just like, you know, as a Spurs fan, I can't dislike Mikel Arteta. He's a nice bloke. I like David Moyes. You know, just take him for what they are. Mauricio Pochettino was the nicest manager I've ever interviewed. You know, it's
the Rob at the Redknapp one where he goes, "Oh, you're a bit of a wheeler dealer." That one is classic. I don't know who the guy was who was interviewing, but
we just lost to Wigan at home 1-0. You know, and 100 shots on target, and they'd scored their one. You know, it just. The one thing to say to him, I mean, God, unbelievable.
Awesome. Sometimes you've got to pick your moments.
Yeah, he's a great character, Redknapp. He's a great character.
Saying about Klopp, though, I don't get all the loving for him because they're like, he's a character. And no, he's all right when things are going well, but I think he's a bit nasty. I think he's under
pressure. He's under pressure this season because they're obviously their title reign, and they could finish outside the top four, and that would be, people are just going to laugh at them, aren't they? Really, but look, Liverpool are 2 or 3 games, three wins in a row, and they're right back up there. So I think City will obviously win the league, but
even David Moyes, I had a bit of a pop at David Moyes the other day because he had an interview after the Fulham game, and the interview was asking him about the VAR.
Trying to join.
They was asking him about the VAR and what he thought about it, and he was getting a bit of the ump, and he was like, I want to talk about the game, and you just asked me about VAR, and it was sort of a 0-0 nothing game. And obviously, you got to understand from the interviewer's perspective is the big story, the big thing that's happened is the VAR. And I think, you know, I don't know if you saw that interview, Michael, but do you think that sometimes managers, they can be a bit unsympathetic to realize that, you know, you're there to do your job, and that is the thing that, you know, people want to know about, you know, you've got to find out what people want to talk about.
Definitely. I think, did you see there was a James Maddison interview a few weeks ago, and everyone sort of went up like, wow, what an interview. It's like, he's just being a human being. He's just being like a guy sitting next to you. You know, he's just, it's human.
Someone said that in the chat about James Maddison, that a great interview.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Declan Rice is like that as well. Declan Rice, Antonio, you know, they come across like
I find it refreshing when players just sort of let their hair down and just say what they want to say. I know that sometimes they can't go over the top, but it's nice sometimes. As fans, we want to hear that. We want to hear that they care. And as you said, it's not just, we move on, we go again next week. We don't want to hear that. We want to hear that we were poor today, you know, and that's what we want to. But is there anyone that who would be your dream interview if you could sit down with sort of anyone for an hour, apart from us, of course, because I know you're living your dream at the moment here, Mike. But who would you, if you could, just sit down with an hour and just talk complete football or boxing, whatever you.
From a non-work perspective, I think Daniel Levy, maybe. And then, I mean, I've never actually interviewed Beckham, so I wouldn't mind interviewing Beckham. I think, you know, I wouldn't mind. Yeah, he have a load of stories, but it's difficult really looking at it. I mean, I've interviewed AJ a lot. He's very nice. It's strange managers, you know.
Have you interviewed Tyson Fury?
I actually interviewed. It's on YouTube. I actually interviewed him when it was his comeback. It was a press conference and his official comeback, and he's done everything. Like boxers always promise things, but he's actually done everything he said he would do that day. I'm coming back. I'm going to win World Championship. I'm going to lose 8 stone. Blah 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 blah. Bang bang bang. He's done it.
He's a top man, Tyson Fury.
He is. And you know, him be Joshua. It's a shame it's not going to be at Wembley. But I mean, it would be great for everyone to see.
Don't you think, though, that with what the country's been through, and not just this country, but the whole world, but we've got the 2 best heavyweights in the world. The fight has to be in England, just for the fans of England. Yeah. You know, it's going to be 2 or 3 legacy fight. So the first one has to be in England. It has to be for fans, for us. That's what we want. We want to go and see these.
I totally agree. I mean, when they originally agreed to it, or the talk originally was one in Vegas and one in Saudi Arabia. I mean, can you just imagine Wembley with them 2? I mean, the roof would come off. You know, they've got to make it happen somehow. But I mean, hopefully with the things hopefully getting a bit better and the vaccines like rapid, like don't matter what political party you are, like it's rapid, you know, hopefully there is some light at the end of the tunnel that we can all get back to football.
Jack said Gascoigne must have been a dream to interview.
I've got a lovely story about Gazza actually. I was a ball boy at Spurs years and years and years ago, and he sort of like talking to him in the tunnel, and I'll never forget it as a really young kid, and he came out to I think he wasn't even playing for Tottenham at the time, but he held my hand out and put 20 quid in my hand. He was like, good lad. And I'll never forget that. You know, he was one of my favourite ever players. So, I mean, it's weird at work because we've got like obits and we did one for Gazza about 8 to 10 years ago. I think it was when he was having a really low time. But obviously, with any news channel, you've got to have things prepared. And I remember watching it on the thing. I was like, I can't watch this anymore. He's just so depressing. So it was so good that you'd see him after that turn his life around. But he's a special guy,
legend, absolute genius.
I don't think no matter who you support. I think he's a bit like Ian Wright, really. You know, I don't think many Tottenham fans dislike Ian Wright. You know, he's a nice bloke. I like Ray Parlour. You know, and those guys from that era.
Yeah, I love listening to Ray Parlour on TalkSport with Alan Brazil and Andy McCoy. I think that's one thing. Yeah. I mean, just before we go into this next question, I think that's one thing that this generation is going to miss out. I mean, old school players, the stories they've got, and you think in 10, 15 years time, 20 years time, you're going to have players that probably won't even do things like what the players do now because they'll have too much money. But you imagine them sitting around, do you remember when we sat around Dele Alli's house and we played Fortnite? What a night that was. But we want to hear stories of players getting pissed and falling out of clubs and things like that. It's just fascinating hearing hearing them stories.
You find it, didn't you? Like where we've done interviews with players, the more recent it gets, the less stories there are. You know, when we done an interview with Konchesky, you know, and you know, obviously he had interesting stories about Pardew and things like that. And but there's less stories like you'll get when we've done Razor Ruddock and things like that, who's going to come up with much more.
Frank Lampard Senior, like just sitting there. He's won 2 FA Cups and he's a West Ham legend. And then you've got who else have we done? Yeah, Dan's right now. The further you go back, legends. Jimmy Walker's the best though. I love Jimmy Walker.
Jimmy Walker, yeah,
he's
what a man.
He's good fun.
But Callum wants to know, Michael, the most fascinating player you have interviewed.
That's a really tough question. I'm thinking about it now. That's a really tough question. Fascinating player. I'll tell you who did. I mean, this is years ago. I mean, this isn't a very enjoyable one, but I remember I first interviewed Tyrone Mings. He was at Ipswich and he was in his first year at Ipswich first team. He had a master's degree, and I thought, God, you are a really interesting guy to listen to. And it's been good to see him sort of now an England player and playing for Villa. Sort of like it was saying about him, so I was like, oh, my instincts were right about someone. But
we had him at West Ham for a little while, never worked out.
No. I mean, Fredericks I know quite well, and he's a lovely lad. He's a top boy. I'm not answering that.
No. I think what he's saying is because when we was talking about TalkSport, I think he's saying Laura Woods and I don't think he was asking which one would you.
Right.
I don't think he's had down that road. I mean,
I don't really like
answer that.
Different sports, yeah.
Just from your side, how refreshing is it to have women involved in football more now? Because I think some of them talk so much, especially like Laura Woods. I love listening to Laura Woods on TalkSport, and obviously you've got all the other Alex Scott as well. It's good to see. I know they get a lot of abuse saying, "Oh, women shouldn't be involved," but I don't agree with it because I think sometimes they talk more sense than what the men do and the ex-pros.
So I like seeing Alex Scott on Football Focus and all that. I think she's really good.
I mean, my older sister, half sister, is just nuts. Doesn't like she's never off Twitter for Tottenham. She's got 3 kids, and I met my missus at Sky. So I'm not gonna, when people, it's just ignorance. I think the problem sometimes is certain media companies might just throw them on a bit too much, and just for. If they've made a mistake, then just throw them in again. And there's a worry that's they feel like Karen Carney, for example, which that abuse she got after the Leeds game. What they didn't show was Jimmy Floyd Hasselbaink going like ex-Leeds player agreeing with what she was saying, and they just cut out a 10-second clip, and that was always going to lead to abuse and bullying. And thankfully that's not affected her job wise because she's being used on BT, Amazon, BBC, which is great. But I know speaking to a few of the ex female footballers who are now pundits that they feel that anything they say has added scrutiny because they're women. But no, I think we've come a long way. I mean, I do think we have. I mean, they would say so themselves. I mean, I think West Ham as well have led the way in women's football. So yeah, I think there's a way to go, but there's a way to go with everything. So I think we've seen a humongous improvement. I think Sky have led the way of it as well. And the participation. I mean, there's great people at Sky, and there's the ones you've mentioned, and there's great people working behind the scenes. So I'm on Transfer Show. My producer Maddie, one of the she's only about 23, 24. One of the best producers I've ever worked with. It's not. Doesn't matter who you are, color, female, male. Love football. That's the end of the day.
Growing up, I sort of the only woman I could really remember involved in football was Helen Chamberlain on Soccer AM.
Yeah.
And that was the only one. And she was brilliant, by the way. Her and Team Lovejoy was. I don't think that. I still like it now, but I don't think the show's ever been the same since. Especially Lovejoy and when Helen left as well. But it's great. But Elliot wants to know what's your thoughts on Scott Parker.
I get on really well with Scott. I'm really pleased. Do you know what? It might be a little bit too late, maybe not, but I think Fulham are looking really good all of a sudden. I just like what he's done. Like Lookman, bombing down the wing. I just like what he's doing there.
Loftus Cheek in the middle.
Yeah. They look a team. You know,
to be fair, they look good against us last year, didn't they?
Yeah.
He has made them difficult to beat.
And do you know what, boys? You know, they beat Brentford, I think, was it in July or early August? They had such a quick turnaround to go from Championship to Premier League. I think we forget it. And they feel over the last month or so, they really look like they belong here. And it might be a little bit too late, who knows? But I like Scott Parker. I mean, I don't know if you all went off him when he joined Tottenham, but I mean, he was great for you, and he was good for us. He was great for us for 2 years.
It definitely hurt that point. It pained me because he was my favourite player. So
I think it would have hurt me more if we were still in the Premier League. But when we went down, I could sort of understand that he had to. Anyone that goes to Tottenham is hard, but I could sort of understand it with Scott Parker. He was Hammer of the Year 3 years in a row. He sort of
single-handedly.
He kept us up 1 year just on his own.
I don't think Fulham's ownership gets enough scrutiny, do they? Like they don't. Fulham's ownership. I know our board gets scrutiny, rightly so, but Fulham's ownership. I mean, they've got the owner's son is their head of recruitment. He's also doing a wrestling company. He's also doing an NFL team. He's trying to do all of these stuff. He has no experience, in football or anything like that, and he's just hiring them all off what he calls data, which we call stats, and. It's I think that really puts on to how much of a good job Scott Parker's doing, because he has got someone like that who has no experience but has decided that they want to be the person who brings in the players. So I think even then you've got to give him even more credit.
I can see Scotty Parker maybe being a future West Ham manager. I can really see him. I'd like to see him after David Moyes. Once David Moyes leaves the club, I'm not saying in the next few years, but I think Scotty Parker, he'd get that more experience. I can definitely see him being a future West Ham manager.
Yeah. Who would you, Michael? Obviously, there's a lot of talk what we said about obviously giving Mourinho to the end of the season. I think Mourinho, regardless, is a short-term prospect anyway. Is there anyone that you would like to see as the next project, the next long-term manager? Anyone that sticks out?
Well, you actually said earlier, and I couldn't agree more with you when you said about there's no point in going now, give him to the end of the season. I think it's spot on, because whoever would come in now, they'd get the new manager bounce, 2 wins, then it would go back to this squad is the shock Spurs fans have had, and I'm one of them as well, is that when they made the summer signings, at the time I was really happy, Doherty, Bale, Højbjerg, all that kind of, I thought they've done some great business here, but it hasn't really worked out for a lot of them, and the squad it's stagnated, and it needs a lot of players need to move on, and I don't think anyone in world football could do a hell of a lot better. I mean, some Spurs fans would disagree. They just say, no, sorry, Mourinho's on 15 million a year, he should make him better. But look, yeah, maybe, but it's not about money. So for me, if he, hypothetically speaking, if he does go in the summer, I've always liked Brendan Rodgers. I think he's done a great job wherever he's been. Yeah. He nearly won the league with Liverpool, didn't he? I mean, he's like one slip away. Yeah. Leicester, I just love Leicester's team. I think they're a bit light, but I think they've got a good team. They talk about Nagelsmann, don't they, at Leipzig? But what comes down to it's the recruitment. The recruitment's key. They need a structure, and I think Spurs. I'd like to see a director of football come in again and just sort of the recruitment's what's really killed Spurs over the last few years. Anyone that's left, anyone's come in has not been better. They've been worse. So that's the problem they've got. That's why a few years ago, Tottenham's team, you had Lloris, Walker, Rose, Alderweireld and Vertonghen, who were just brilliant. They're rocks. Dembele, one of the best players I've ever seen at Tottenham. I'm not exaggerating. When he's fit, he was just incredible. You've got Eriksen, Kane, Son, Ali. That should have won things, that team. And it's been broken away. And,
you're going to have to probably find gems, because you're probably not going to do too many big 30 million, 40 million signings, and you want to be able to try and get that structure to go and find. No. So like we've done with Souček and Kufal, and go around and find those gems. And like you said, the structure is key.
Right? How much was Kufal?
5 mil.
Again?
Just your 5 million, Gray, just your 5. But I wanted to mention this when we were talking about referees earlier, but Max just brought it up. What's your thoughts on the referee almost headbutting that Ipswich player? He's actually been demoted, which I think is wrong. I've actually heard ex-players come out and said they respect that referee because he's showing authority on the pitch. All right, maybe he might have gone a little bit over the top, but even the player come out and said, why is the referee apologising? I've got no problem with it. And they were saying on the radio the other day that they should reward him with maybe moving up to the Premier League and doing a Premier League game, because I thought is he like RAF or something like that? He's like he looked a bit of a nutter. I tell you, I wouldn't want to mess with him.
He looked like he could handle himself. It always makes me laugh, doesn't it? When they always say, "Oh, that referee who cost us 3 points last week, he's been demoted to League Two." And my Orient mayor go, "Oi, don't send him to us. Why are we getting? Why are we getting the punishment?" It's like going back to female broadcasters. I think the best linesman is Sian Massey. And she's been around for like over 10 years now. She's fantastic. So that was quite an instant the other night. But I hope he doesn't lose his job over it.
Yeah.
I think he's been demoted for 1 week, or he's not allowed to referee this week. But I think it was refreshing to see. If I'm honest, the amount of abuse that you think you've got 22 players on that pitch, you're not going to please everyone. So you're getting abuse from the players, you're getting abuse from the sidelines, the crowds when they're there. It's a tough job to referee. I wouldn't want to do it.
No, not
to be fair though, he has got the red card there to use instead, because that's what if a player does that, moves their head towards, they're getting sent off. And if he's getting to the level of abuse, if you abuse a ref now, I think that is, you can get, I know we've got dissent, but if you full out swear at a ref or call him anything, I'm sure you can get sent off for that. But like I said, sometimes the pressure can get too much.
Phillips asks, what do you miss most about the old White Hart Lane? Obviously, we're in the similar situations, because obviously we left the bowling ground. I mean, you've left the old White Hart Lane, but you're still in the same place. For us, we've moved 3 miles down the road to Stratford, but it's tough when someone today sent me a photo. They was near the old bowling ground. They sent me a photo of it, and it's sad to see all that history. And it's not only the stadium gone, all the local businesses, the pubs that are shut. And listen, Upton Park wasn't the greatest area, but on a match day, it was our Bel Air. We loved it. It was our place to go.
It's when Del Boy won the millions, he still kept his 3-wheel van. At the end of the day, it's your home. It's your home. Can
I just say I like that sound? I'm writing that one down. I'm using that on next week's show.
Yeah, I mean, but it's true though, isn't it? I mean, it's your home. You say the bowling, like you'll get Everton fans here and say, like they love Goodison. But I love White Hart Lane, but the season ticket waiting, it got beyond the joke. It was like the Dell. It was too small. This club was desperate to push on. You were told that your move was going to push you on, and in your eyes that hadn't happened. But the problem was it's a great question, it really is, because I loved White Hart Lane, but you have to move on, and I've got great memories, and it was a great last game, Man United. We ran on the pitch. You had a good last game as well
against Man United. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Man United.
The difference is, it was like, I remember reading in the Evening Standard and Karen Brady writing, this stadium will make us, everyone will be jealous of us, Spurs will be jealous. I was like, why do you always have to compare? Just make it about you, and now I don't know whether you like the stadium or not, but our stadium, I love it. They've done it right. It still feels like White Hart Lane. It just feels twice as big. And the one single tiered, when I walked in, I was like, wow, they've nailed this. And
I'll be honest, I was there that first game when we played you there, and I remember walking through the turnstiles, and it was like walking through an airport. The glass doors slide open, you scan your ticket, and I remember walking into that stadium and thinking, wow, this is a football stadium. We never had a football stadium. We've got an Olympic stadium. It wasn't built for football, but Tottenham obviously built it for football. And you look at it, and I'll take away all the blue and white around it and the Tottenham badges, but no, it's an impressive stadium. It is a really impressive stadium.
Yeah.
Well, I went there for an NFL game, and it was
did you? Yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah, because I went with a mate who's, funnily enough, a season ticket holder over there.
Yeah.
And I was just saying, I was going to myself, this is unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, Michael made a good point earlier about how much that stadium, though, financially has affected Spurs because of how much revenue you've lost, and which is, I think, is totally right. But this is what West Ham have tried to say. But the thing is, the big difference is we don't make money off of the stadium. We don't have the match day refreshments. We don't make money off of all the concerts and the Olympics and all of that, and all the other and the sporting events. Like Spurs are absolutely losing out on all of that revenue. Really, we're not. We're losing out on season ticket money. So I feel like that we're trying too much to try and use that excuse, whereas Spurs probably, do have that genuine excuse, whereas our owners have tried to lean on that as a bit of a crutch when our costs and our losses are minimal compared to other teams who do own their stadium, and like Spurs, who not just own their stadium but did plan, NFL concerts, sporting events, all of that. So I think we've tried to get away with it.
Has the stadium, I've seen, they've tried to make it more as the years have gone on, more football orientated, though, haven't they? With the surface, with the colour and everything. Do you, as West Ham fans, feel that improvements have been made with the infrastructure?
If you go back to the first game we went there and to now, you can see the improvements from just putting up like pictures in the turnstiles, the legends, the claret carpet. It does look a little bit more West Ham, but I think it will never be home. It will never feel like home. It will never have that feel like you did at the bowling ground. But I know we've got to move on from bowling ground because it's a block of flats now. But listen, if they've done them, it might take 10, 15 years to get that into I mean, we haven't been in that stadium since they've squared it off behind the goals. So it might look a little bit more different when we get there. So it's
they need to do that on the sides, square it off.
Yeah, it would take a lot of work to do that because they'll have to move the roof and things like that. But I'll tell you what, though, Michael, we've got a lovely gym bar, mate. We've got a lovely.
The old gym bar.
You can go out half time. You can get a Jack Daniels and Coke.
You know what the thing is, though? Well, it sounds trivial, but the big thing I've been wanting them to do for ages is to change all of the white seats and make it claret. Because you go to other clubs, you go to Arsenal, for example. All the seats are red. It feels red. It feels more Arsenal, Upton Park, we had a lot of the claret seats with the few whites that spill out West Ham. The colours, it helps you feel more West Ham, and if we had that, it would feel. It doesn't change the distances. I'm quite close anyway, but I think it helps sort of make it feel West Ham. And the thing is, when people are getting up for half time as well, the white seats stand out like a bloody sore thumb, like when you've got these bloody white seats everywhere. But I think that's the change that they could definitely make short term, but I've been trying to get them saying to do it for a while, but whether they will, it's one of those things.
Graham, you got anything you want to ask Michael, mate? Anything on your mind?
No, I'll say the question I would have asked was, we've covered it about the best players or managers that you've interviewed.
One thing I would ask, Michael, is obviously you talked about the potential of spending money from talk about getting a big money from Kane. Whether you get 150, 100 million or whatever, how would you like to see that money invested? Because it's one of those things. It's hard, isn't it, to replace a player like Kane? It's so hard, and that is a hard position to buy for. But at the same time, you do need maybe like a creative midfielder, something like that. Is it something you try and find a gem, or is there like a top striker that you try and pinch from another club? Or how would you like to see that money reinvested if you did lose a player like Kane?
Well, I mean, it's a great question, but I'll be honest with you, I'd reject them all outright. I don't have the faith that they would replace him adequately. I just don't. I think he could really damage the club more than any departure than what we've had over the last few years. Like Berbatov, it was bad, but replaced eventually. Keane replaced eventually, but this one that's gonna rock the club. And then with the pandemic at the moment, with values going down, it's not. I think it's. I don't know, maybe 50-50, I'd say at the moment. I don't know, because I think someone should come in for him. And there's nothing wrong with him looking round or thinking about it. Why would he not? He's so good. Everyone always tells me, no, he's Lewandowski. And all that. It's like, here we go again, comparing players. I don't know why people do it. I don't know why people do combined 11s. They're pointless. He'd score 70 goals in that Bundesliga. It's just, I know how much it would destroy Tottenham if he went. It's just if he agitates for the move.
If he puts in a transfer request or something.
I've got a question, Michael. Philip's asking, do you get mistaken for the old league striker, Michael Bridges? Do you know what? I literally, before we come on air, my mate rang me, right? He went to me, I just seen you upload. He went, that's good you got him on tonight. He went, tell him from me. He said, I liked him when he was at Chelsea, but I didn't like him under Abraham Grant. What's he talking about? I went, what? Wayne Bridge? I went, I ain't got Wayne Bridge on here tonight. I said, I've got Michael Bridge.
Who's that?
And he went, oh, he went, tell him I like Sky Sports News.
Oh, that is amazing. I had a tweet from someone yesterday. There's a mural, there's a poster of Michael Bridges in the Carlisle Stadium, and it may be like once every 6 weeks. Oh, I'm not him, but yeah.
He used to play for Sunderland as well. I'm sure he was at Sunderland when he might.
Yeah, Then he went to Leeds and he had loads of injuries. Yeah.
And then I was thinking to myself, I haven't asked Wayne Bridge to come on over because I ain't prepared for Wayne Bridge.
That's waiting to come on now, yeah.
He Googled, I'm a celebrity.
Yeah. Boys, I love you and leave you. I know you want to talk West Ham.
No, that's top, man.
It's been an absolute pleasure tonight. Thank you very much.
No,
and I hope you come on again soon.
Thank you
brilliant
for coming on, mate. And
brilliant.
We'll have you on again before the end of the season, hopefully.
That'd be great. Yeah, lovely.
I would wish you luck for Sunday, but I ain't gonna because we need 3 points.
He won't mean it. He won't mean it.
Let's do it again when the transfer window's open.
Definitely,
absolutely, mate. Good one.
Brilliant.
Take care, boys.
Weekend, mate.
Look after yourselves. Take care.
Take care, mate.
Bye.
Take care, mate.
Oh,
do you know what? Do you know
what a lovely fella. What a lovely fella.
He only wanted to come on for an hour. I just looked and it's an hour and 20 minutes. We had 20 extra minutes out of him. No wonder he shut off a bit. I feel guilty now. No,
he's looked at the time and thought,
I could have listened to him talk all night.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? It's nice sometimes. That's why I wanted to get someone on who had Tottenham connections tonight. Because obviously, I don't know what happened to Nicky. He tried to log on, but I don't think his phone was connecting. But
he came in, didn't he? We had him up on the screen, and then
unless it was Wayne Bridge trying to get on, I don't know.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, that's funny. I thought to myself, what's he talking about? He used to play under Avram Grant. I was thinking to myself, I ain't got the wrong person. But no, it was nice because you see, we spoke about 2 different sides there. We spoke about like the Tottenham fan, and we spoke about someone that works in the industry of Sky Sports and interviews players, and they can tell he's a really nice bloke and fair play to him. I messaged him at like 3:30 this afternoon and said, "Are you available for tonight?" And he said, "Yeah." He said,
"Yeah." The thing is, a few people obviously wanted to ask him about Jim White, but I don't think it's fair to ask him to answer for Jim White because you know what I mean. He just happens to work for the same company. You know what I mean? Like he's not here to come on and answer for Jim White's comments about.
That'd be like someone asking us to answer for you, Dan, or like, what does Dan think? You can't. Ask someone else.
And it puts him in a difficult. It puts him in a difficult position as well.
What you got to remember as well is he works for Sky Sports. It's his job. I wouldn't want him to come on here and say something and someone retweets it and he loses his job or gets in trouble for it because that's not what it's about. I just thought it was nice to have a Spurs fan on here tonight. And I think he was very level-headed Spurs fan. He spoke well about West Ham, which you don't really hear. But I think now he's gone, we can get stuck into Tottenham a bit more.
Yeah. No, they're still tweeting me. They're still tweeting me pictures. Some of them, they posted this picture of this T-shirt. When we beat them 3 times in the season, it was the treble and things. I've never seen a single West Ham fan wear the treble T-shirt or have a treble mug. I've never seen it.
I used to work with someone that used to wear it, the triple T-shirt.
Oh, it's a bit like it's a bit embarrassing because it's like I said, it's a stick for them to beat us with. It's like when people talk about the DVDs with Tottenham.
At least we weren't claiming we pretty much won the title in December. That's all I'm saying.
No,
exactly. But, I do like winding them up.
Dennis has said, lovely interview with him, lads. Actually listening to a Spurs fan. Thank you so much, Dennis. Just quickly, I just want to go back to what I said in the beginning of the show. You can see the banner across.
Let me just go to the toilet real quick.
Any donations for allocating, you can go on to Twitter and you've got Isla's Army, Baz Cox as well. Go on to his Twitter and all the information's on there. We're raising, trying to raise as much money as we can for an unbelievable little girl. What she's been through in her, she's 6 years old, and what she's been through, is terrible. And I think you always see stories. You always grown up seeing stories, but when you actually know the family and it's closer to home, it hits you a bit more. So, and the way the West Ham community fan base, not only West Ham fans, other fans, but mainly the West Ham fan base have come together in the last couple of days. And I think, as they said yesterday, they wanted to start the campaign today to raise £10,000, and they done it yesterday. I think they raised over 11 grand yesterday, and I'm not sure what the total is at the moment, but it's probably touching 20k at the moment, if not just gone over it, which is unbelievable. And the family, and especially Isla, you know, she needs our help, and you know, we'll do everything we can. Not only us, there's other channels out there, loads of West Ham Twitter accounts, everyone just donating. You know, as Baz says, it don't matter if you donate £1 or a tenner or a fiver. You know, £1 is just as important as £100. So keep donating. The link's in the description below. And yeah. Oh yeah, someone's just said, it's Jake. They've passed 20,000 for Isla, which is incredible. Jake, me and Jake was on a game show last night on Russ's channel, My Hammers 11. Jake won. He ended the streak. Fair play to him. It was good. It was a really good night. We had Anton on there from Irons United, which was it was a good show. Russ hosts them well. Always good to get involved in them. But yeah, so keep donating. Yeah, Andy's just said over 20 grand's been raised so far. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, especially in these difficult times as well, where people can just come together, and it's amazing. But so we're gonna. I've just messaged Nicky to see if he's coming on. I don't know if he's got a connection. I see him try to log on and he couldn't get connected. So I know he's out at the moment. But yeah, we'll go to Ask Us Anything. Last 20 minutes. So get your questions in for us free. The free
I tell you, speaking of
you look like Robocop with them headphones on, mate.
Do you know what made me laugh? I see it in the comments. Someone said, Dan, put them back up a minute. Put them back up. Someone said Dan's shadow's got a man bun.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? It does. I was gonna say though, no. Speaking of Spurs fans, right? Did you see that Ian Abraham Moose? Was in the news again. Talking about West Ham fans. The reason I say that, I think he's secretly a Spurs fan. You know, talking about how we're doing well because the fans aren't there. You know, that's why we are where we are, because the fans aren't in the stadium, which I think is a complete load of rubbish. To be honest with you, I don't know what everyone else thinks, but
yeah, I think he knows how to wind up the fan base. You know,
but I actually saw a few West Ham fans agree with it. You know, I see a few West Ham fans saying,
"You know what? Looking at it from, okay, maybe there is a little bit of truth in it, because there are times where we've been sort of 1-0 down in a game, and you know, us fans would have been on the back. But listen, the players want us there as much as we want to be. You know."
You're breaking up, right? Yeah, there you're back. No, the thing is, it's more. The thing is, I think it's there may be times when maybe, you know, it might have had an effect, but I don't think it's even worth mentioning. And the fact that it only gets mentioned about with West Ham, no one talks about Man United and their fans. You know, how they've been vocal against the Glaziers and against their team. No one talks about Arsenal and how Arsenal would have been this season. No one talks about Newcastle. You know, and how they've been with Mike Ashley. You know, it's only seems to be West Ham. And the idea, it's sort of, I think it's disrespectful to the players and to the manager to sit there and say West Ham would not be up where we are if fans were there. Like, as if, you know what I mean? Like, they're not that good.
The thing is, I think there's not like certain journalists and that very anti-West Ham, especially after all the stadium business like years ago. You know, I think there's a few journalists that are very, very anti-West Ham.
You try and ask people. I've tried to ask people, where do you think we would be then? If not fifth, if the fans were there, where do you think we'd be in the table? I've not got an answer.
Second.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's it, because there are games where it's like, you know, we'd give the team a lift. You know what I mean? Like, people act like.
I mean, we've been over games, especially like there was a couple of, I think, what was it, the Chelsea? There's been a couple of Chelsea games over there. The atmosphere's been brilliant. So to say that it can work the other way, it can get, you know, get them over the line.
Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely, and that is the thing. There were so many. I imagine just being there this season. I think that people are just trying to have another pop at West Ham fans, like we're a detriment to our team. Like, the reason why we haven't been doing well is because of the fans, and now the fans are out there, we're doing well. So
it'd be the same at Spurs. You know what I mean? It'll be the same at Spurs if Spurs fans were there this season. They'll be having a go at the team. It's but you know
it's not West Ham. Yeah, it's not exclusive to West Ham, and people try and paint us up like we're this negative thing for the team. Yeah, and that's the thing. In even every game, right? And this is the thing as well. People go, "Oh, you know, if things aren't going well, the fans start to get a bit restless." You will remember at Upton Park, right? Say we had a game against Norwich or a team that we expect to be playing well against, right? And we're just crap. The fans would turn. It was nothing exclusive recently, but we'd still have, like, even at that good season we had. And you go to any other club, not just West Ham, if you're playing crap early on, the fans start to get a bit restless. Do you know what I mean? It's not it's a football thing, but people try and demonise.
You go down leagues, you go League One, League Two, fans will get the ump down there for team, mate. You know what I mean?
It's not a West Ham
exclusive to us.
Exactly. No, Chris says, did you watch the Gio's interview with Lee Clayton? I did. I watched it. Yeah, I thought that Lee Clayton, he came across really well, and I think a lot of what he said was fair enough, because a lot of people sort of would blame him as a West Ham fan, but he's sort of saying, like, you know, he doesn't really get heavily involved and tell us presenters what to say. You know, it's just you get them for their personalities. But one thing I didn't agree with is he said that Jim White. He said Jim White is a good journalist. He's a proper journalist. He has that integrity. But like he said, obviously, because when someone's giving you access, you're going to be more positive to them, right? So, of course, because Sullivan's giving him access, he's not going to be as critical of Sullivan, right? And the thing, what I'm saying is, that is then surely him. You know, that's the opposite of the journalist, because someone's giving you a favor, what you're going to spin things in their favor. You are compromised as a journalist, because you're not reporting on the truth. Someone's giving you an interview, so you feel like you have to represent them in a positive light rather than the truth and actually ask them journalistic questions. So I disagree with him on that, and I think really he just highlighted again how bad and how sycophantic Jim White is in that.
Yeah, I think Gio done a great job with what he can ask, because he can only ask up to a certain limit, really, because he knows that he's not going to get the answer that. I mean, it's easy for people to criticise. Oh, you should have asked this, you should have asked. But when you're in a situation, you know that you can't ask certain questions. But I thought Gio done a really good job, and it was a good interview.
Yeah, he done well, because a lot of it, like, it's just fair enough, isn't it? Like, when he's saying, like, yeah, look, you know, this is my job. This is what I do. I don't tell people what to say. And it shouldn't be about my opinion. And he came across like a West Ham fan. I thought that was fair enough.
I just want to answer this one. Hammer time. Can I ask why last PMP the comments were disabled? They wasn't disabled. We didn't know what happened because we thought they was. We thought we just selected it, but for some reason, and I know another YouTube channel was having problems that night with live comments as well. So the comment section wasn't disabled after. It was when it was live. It was something to do with a live chat. We had it the other week as well, where for the first 20 minutes it wasn't working. So
nothing was coming up, was it?
Yeah, we are looking into that, but we didn't do it on purpose.
I was there while they was live. I did pop in and try and have a look, and I just couldn't figure it out.
When we go live on Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, we get all the comments come up, and all the Facebook and Periscope ones were coming up. It was just the YouTube one wasn't coming up, and I sort of noticed it after a couple of minutes, because usually the comments are coming in straight away from YouTube. We get most of our comments from YouTube, but I don't know what was happening, but hopefully that won't happen again.
Fingers crossed. No, I put up that Gab. I want to know what did Gabby Abonga say? What did he say this time? He's talking some sort of rubbish. He does talk a lot of rubbish. You know, at the end of the day, you know, that thing when he posted about. Oh, do you know what it was? I think it was when he was talking about the criticism and things like that of or abuse that he gets or something. And the thing is, if it's racial abuse, then I agree you shouldn't get that. But if he's just getting you're antagonising West Ham fans.
Matt, yes, mate, it's Barry Cox. That's Baz. Everyone knows him as Baz. I remember once when I was at a charity game and they went, "How do you know Barry?" And I'm like, "Who's Barry?" And they went, "Baz." I went, "Oh, Baz." It's just not you calling Barry, are you? But I'm thinking the Agbon Lahore thing. I think that when he posted that video, didn't he, after the Villa game when he scored at Upton Park like 10 years ago, and I think that he upset a few of the West Ham fan base. But I agree with you. Look, there's no room for racism in football, and
I don't know if that's what he was saying. If he did get racism,
I don't know if you've noticed as well over the last few weeks. It seems to be creeping back in now, doesn't it?
On social media, people are getting
a lot more players getting a lot more people getting.
I think the reason why it is, and look, if you're on Twitter, and on any social, there's this thing called football Twitter, right? And a lot of people, I feel like they do it because it feels like they gives them power and attention. When if they send a racist message to a player, and then they see it in the news, or they see the reaction, they thrive off of the reaction. That's why they're always trying to rattle people or trigger people.
They treat getting blocked as a badge. Like, look, I'm blocked by this person. You know what I mean? It's
I've rattled it.
It's mental, and there needs to be something that they can do to. These social media companies are the only ones that can change it, because it's easy to block someone and then they can go and make an account, and in 2 minutes later they can be under a different name and they can be doing exactly the same. It's a sad world we live in at the moment. I think.
Look at Rio. All the comments he gets about his wife, who died, or people comments about their kids.
I don't know.
The people that are doing it probably, I wouldn't say that they are racist because they're doing it, but they're probably just doing it because, they know they can get away with it, and that's the sad thing. And until social media accounts take your proper details, like you have to put like your bank details to it, or your passport details, or just something that they can link you with, they won't do it. They'll stop doing it that way. But that's for social media companies to get sorted.
I just don't know what goes what goes through their heads, why they think it's acceptable to do that sort of thing. I can't understand the thought process. Do you know what I mean?
It's one of them things that it's not only racist. It's when you abuse anyone for the way they look or whatever. It's just for you to sit there and have to do that behind a fake account. You've got to have some sad life. You got to, you're either. It's a sad thing, and we get it sometimes on here when people make fake accounts up and slate us, and we don't take it too personally, but sometimes it does get to you because you think, why are you taking time out to do that? But it's the world we live in, mate. Unfortunately, it's the downside to social media, but there is the upsides to social media. Luke's asking me, do you like Benidorm, the TV program? Yes, I do. I loved it. I watched it when it was on ITV, and I actually, in the first lockdown, I watched it again, the whole 10 series during the first lockdown. Love it.
I've been Benidorm a few times.
The first 3 or 4 seasons are the best. The Garveys.
Yeah, it's no, I don't watch it. I've never seen an episode, never seen a minute.
Because I've been there, like you're watching it and you're going, I remember that bar. Oh, I've been in there.
I've never.
It is like that. It is like the TV series.
Graham looks like he loves a bit of Benidorm as well. I can see.
I've been Benidorm for years.
Like when you go Sports Direct and you get the St. George shorts, the sandals, the bucket hat, no shirt, just walking down Benidorm.
Never worn like St. George's shorts or anything like that.
No, you wear Union Jack ones.
Yeah.
Nah.
But, I tell you what, I saw this really good video on the Twitter the other day with Kevin Keegan. I shared it because it really resonated as a West Ham fan. It was when he signed Shearer. And he signed Shearer. He's got Shearer sitting next to him, and he's talking about signing him. And he said, "Look, what we want to do with the club." And he said, at the end of the day, he said, "This is your money. Like, this is your money. It's your, it's your season tickets. It's your, it's your merchandise. It's all of the stuff that you're spending your money, all the money that you put into this club. The money that we're spending on transfer, it's your money." And I've retweeted that because, I have there's a few people that stick up for the ball and say, "Oh, why are you talking about transfers? It's not our money. They can do what you want." And the thing is, it is at the end of the day, it is, but it isn't. Do you know what I mean? At the same time, but we have a vested interest in the club. We put money in the club, and we want that money. We want that money to go somewhere. And you have someone like Kevin Keegan. I think he's a great character, and I think he just
Keegan signed Shearer for the fans, didn't he? He gave him that's what the fans wanted. They wanted their hero, the homecoming. Because Shearer could have gone to United and won it all, but he was a Newcastle boy. He wanted to play for his boyhood club, break records there, hopefully win trophies. He didn't, but look, as you said, he signed him for the fans.
Yeah, and I just think that's right. Like, it is football clubs. If you're an owner, you're a custodian of the fan. It's not like another business where you buy the business just for the profit, and that's what it's all about. You buy it, and there is a fan base attached to that club who have a vested interest in that club trying to do better. And I just don't think we should ever lose sight of that. And I think that was just a nice video to see. And yeah, what a guy Kevin Keegan was. But Callum says ideal lineup for Sunday. I wanted to point out because, without going into the full line, I think it's really. I've been advocating for Fredericks, recently for a while. In fact, from since the start of the season, I've been impressed with him. Since we switched to that back five, I think he's like Masuaku, where he is a lot better either as a wing back or a winger, where he's less have to worry about defending. And I think if we can do a job like with Kufau and Fredericks on the right, like we did against Grealish to try and deal with Son, I think that should be the tactic we go. If we can try and isolate Son from Kane and try and limit their link-up play as much as possible, I think that should be what we go for. I think definitely.
It's a difficult one, isn't it? Because people say don't change your winning side, but I think you just got to play to your strengths against who you're playing against. And like people were saying, bringing Ben Rama in for Lanzini, I could see him maybe bringing Fornals in for Lanzini just for his work rate, But
I think Ben Rama
off the bench.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see Ben Rama start. To be honest, but I don't know. Is Antonio fit enough to start? I don't think so. Would you stick with Bowen up top?
Yeah, it's
a good headache for boys to have.
Yeah, do you try and go with a back five? It's tough, obviously, with Ogbonna missing and having the players, and it's a tough one. But I do think Ben Rama does actually, I think he has got work rate in him.
He has.
I think it's probably a different type of work rate to what Fornals does, because he is a little bit more focused on creativity. But like, you just see him, the way he does not stop moving like Ben Rama. He does not stop trying. He does not stop fighting. And I think I do worry. This is what I want to ask you about, is concern of that he might consider playing a midfield three with like Souček, Noble, and Rice, and he might be tempted to put Noble in there.
I don't think I don't want to make the mistake we made against like Liverpool and that. Going too defensive. I think we're better when we're going forward.
Yeah, I don't think he will. I don't think he'll play Noble. I can completely understand where you're coming from, because we've seen it before, and Noble usually rises to these sort of games. But Noble 3 or 4 years ago, but with what Tottenham have got in their midfield, I think Rice and Souček, just let us play football, get the ball down, play football. If we play football on Sunday and lose, you can hold your hands up and say, well, at least we give it a go. If you sit back and lose, we're all going to moan, oh, Moyes should have gone for it. So let's just let our best players play their best players and see what happens.
Yeah, and I think an approach similar like we went out with Aston Villa, because Aston Villa, I thought we looked brilliant. We were keeping our eye on keeping key players quiet and at the same time being able to go forward and create an attack and having that balance. And I think the balance is important, because we have some difficult situations.
We need to win the midfield, because the thing is, we can worry about Son and Kane, but if the midfield ain't getting the ball through to them, they're not going to score. So we need to win the midfield battle.
As we were saying, Michael, Højbjerg and Ndombele have been very good for them too. It's going
to be a great matchup in that midfield. That's what I said to you. Whoever wins the midfield battle wins the game. Lee wants to know, what's your favourite memory as a kid on holiday?
I didn't have too many holidays as a kid. I went Pontins once in 1998. That was good.
What, Bogner?
No, Canvas Sands.
Oh, do you know what? I was thinking of Canvas Sands.
Butlins.
I've been Pontins at Canberra Sands. I took my daughter there when she was younger. We loved it. The beach there is unbelievable. We went there in the summer to Canberra.
I like Canberra Sands. Lovely beach.
Yeah.
I might pop up in the comments, be like, "What are you talking about? I took you here, you ungrateful bastard." But I don't remember I don't remember any.
Be like, you little shit.
I think probably my best memory, because as a kid I loved obviously Ghostbusters. And I went to Florida in '95, and Universal Studios, they still had the Ghostbusters car there. So to see that, like, and have your picture done with it, and that was a great memory. And they also had the DeLorean from Back to the Future as well. So that's great memories.
Yeah.
I think when I was about 13, 12, 13, we went. That was our first holiday abroad. We went Mallorca.
Oh, I thought he was going to say when you went on that cruise on the Titanic across.
We had a lovely week. Every week.
We had a lovely cruise. It didn't end well, but we had a lovely cruise.
Every week.
No, we didn't have money for holidays. Yeah, so I was racking my brain. Lisa, no, I did go to Ireland for a couple of weeks when I was 13 to stay at my aunt's house over there and visit family, and that was a nice holiday. You know, I went with my granddad and my nan, and I remember buying a WWF CD in Ireland in the Virgin or HMV out there, and we climbed Bray Rock. Yeah, but that's first. No, not paintballing. What was the thing? Laser. It was Quasar. It was called
Quasar. Laser tag. Quasar.
Yeah. That was
great. I did see it in the comments, but I didn't get it out. But someone says you know Sticky Vicky from Benidorm.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I have seen her show. Yes.
Now, this is a good question. From Nino 1983. One player, if you could re-sign, who is still playing now.
One player you could re-sign who is still playing now.
Yeah, someone that's left the club that is still playing.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Obviously, Pint sticks out as one of the most obvious ones, but I don't really want to go Pint. There's not too many players that have like really left the club, have they? That have gone on to do really good things, like have gone better. You know what I mean? That you would think, oh, we could do with them now. Is there really that's still playing? Apart from Pint, maybe.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a good question.
I thought would have been good for us if we'd have kept him.
Yeah.
Alex Song.
Yeah,
Alex Song. Yeah, I wouldn't have him now though. Like, if
what people saying, Pedro Obiang, Arnautovic, would have been one.
Sebastian Haller. No. I tell you, like right now, yeah. Faguli, I think, got a bad rap. I don't think he fully got a chance.
I think that we should give Gokhan Tor another go. I thought he was harshly treated at West Ham.
Yeah, you loved a bit of Gokhan Tor.
I just thought I see him play a couple of times. I thought, he looked like he'd suit the Premier League, but no, he didn't. That's a good shout, Diangana,
yeah, because the thing is, people are like looking at him and not doing too well at West Brom. It's like, look, see, but I feel like it was a bad move.
That is a great shout, and if we had him now, Chicharito.
Yeah, I think he was.
There's a few people saying about James Tompkins.
Yeah, I tell you what, James Tompkins. He's someone who I think it was. We should have maybe held on to.
John Sam Ryan, I come across your interview with that geezer at Crystal Palace who does his nut about the team, wanted the shirt. What was your thoughts? That was a mental interview because what people didn't see was across the road, it was sort of kicking off with some fans. So if you look at the interview, I'm trying to obviously interview him, but I'm trying to look at one. And then the police have heard obviously the bloke going nuts on the interview, and they think he's kicking off. So they're coming over, and as they're walking over, I sort of put my hand out and go, no, it's all right. And then he was going on about obviously the shirt, and I don't know if it was his son or his mate come over to pull him away, and he was just like, "Fuck off!" And he went, "Right, I'm calm. I'm going for a beer." But he's a top bloke. He's a top bloke. You see him at every away game, dresses up as like I think he's been Ginger Pele, Randolph.
Mostly, yeah. That's his favourite.
He's a really good bloke. Really good.
Yeah,
bloke.
yeah. No, he's a top
I
guy.
remember that. That was funny.
Yeah, no, he's
funny
came
at
up
the time when the old Bill marching towards you, like, oh, what's going on here?
Me and Nicky was I think it was either the following week or the week after that when we was at Brighton away and I was filming Nicky doing interviews and he walked past, he came up to me and said, oh, I'm sorry about that, and I was like, no, don't be sorry, mate, you know what I mean, like, don't be sorry at all. Like I said, he's a top guy. But we've got a question here, opinions on Jose's comments. I think that's referring to Jose's come out and he sort of said that, you know, West Ham have the advantage because they're not playing European football and, you know, we're playing European football, so we're at a disadvantage going into this game and all of that. And I just find it a little bit just crass. It plays like...
Mate, so all managers do it. Ferguson used to do it before games.
What mind games does that play, though? What does that achieve apart from just making yourself look like...
Well, the thing is, if
that affects us?
If we win it and go, oh, well, we play Thursday, you know, we're playing more games, we're playing in Europe.
Yeah.
If they win, I think he's a genius for juggling the squad about, isn't he?
Yeah, I think he's trying to get his excuses in early. As Graham he's got his excuses, but
that's what it is. It's an excuse because if at the end of the day, you know? Yeah, he's got, like I've said, he's got a squad that's built for Europe, right? He's got a team of world class players, so he can't sit there and say we're on the same. Like you're just coming into this equal. We rested Harry Kane. He was able to rest Harry Kane going into that. And at the end of the day, you're trying to get into Europe. If you don't like it, don't go for Europe then.
This is the thing, Dan. If you're playing more games, it means you're successful. If you're in more competitions, you're successful. They've got bigger squads now than they used to have. So, like you say, if you're moaning about playing in Europe, don't qualify for Europe then.
Yeah,
Does that mean you don't want to win the league because you don't want to play in the Champions League? Or, you know,
he's obviously under pressure as well, isn't he? Because if he loses, as you say, you know, they'll be down mid-table. They'll be 9 points behind us. You know, Arsenal could overtake them. You know, their fans don't want that. You know, they. So yeah, we'll see what happens on Sunday, Jose.
It's part of it, but someone pointed out, right? Apart from this. This is the first time they've played in Europe, that extra European game, since like November, and you know so they're playing one more game than us in however many months. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like they've sitting there been playing that extra game every week over us. So yeah, I think they overstayed. Like you said, it's an excuse, and I think it's a weak one. Leanne, I think I saw this a couple of times in the chat. So what happened to Ball Street? Is it just too expensive to get everyone together now? I've been re-watching the Deadline Day videos with you all together. I think the thing is with Ball Street, they sort of shifted their direction of where they wanted to go. I think they've moved away from like the whole fan channels collaborating.
Yeah. I'll be honest. Funny enough, me and Nicky was only talking about Ball Street the other week because I totally forgot all about them. I don't see them upload, but then they uploaded a video like on the last Deadline Day, and I think it was only like James and Flav and I think Paul from the Red Men TV. But yeah, you're right. They just sort of went a bit quiet, didn't they? But
yeah,
we met some good people there. They give us a good opportunity in the beginning, helped us grow our fan base a little bit, but.
Yeah, it's a shame because I enjoyed doing the Deadline Day collaboration videos, and I'll never forget the first one I did when I had to go up to Liverpool and stay overnight, and so it was me. You had the Man United guy, the Chelsea guy, that Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, and I'm trying to think who else was there that. People know, obviously the Red Men were there and the Toffee TV were down there, but and the Tottenham guy. Anyway, so we all went down. We had this. It was a good day, really good what they prepared for us. And then we went and stayed in a hostel. So there's all of us in this hostel, and people who watch this will know. I don't eat meat, I don't eat dairy. So I'm sitting in this hostel. We're all getting takeaway, and it's like, right, what do you want? And I'm like, well, what is there that I can get in this in Everton hostel? So I just get me a cheeseless pizza. And Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV, he looked like I just spat in his face. He went, what? A cheeseless pizza? And I was like, he's like, why are you getting a cheeseless pizza? And I was like, well, I don't eat, meat or dairy. He went, you don't eat meat or dairy? What? He said, why? And so anyway, we get into having this long debate, right? So I'm standing with Ribbon Robbie from Arsenal Fan TV. He was in his boxer shorts and t-shirt, standing next to his bunk. I'm on my bunk. Everyone is trying to go asleep, and we're having this long debate. You know, it goes to the Bible, it fucking going everywhere, and everyone else is laying there thinking, "Shut up." It's just going back and forth. And he was so offended by it. It was like I could not believe it. So
I remember when me and Nicky done a deadline day thing with Ball Street down in Liverpool, and they used to do this thing where they used to do Ball Street, like the team Ball Street on Championship Manager, and everyone had to take it over and control it for the day. And by the time me and Nicky got on it, we lost 3 in a row and got the sack. We were so bored. I think they had Emil Heskey up front because it was like the 2000-2001 season. We edited Emil Heskey's name to Des Lettuce, and we told Paul at Redmen that we just signed someone called Des Lettuce from the 3rd division, and he just looked at us like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like, me and
that's
Nicky
the first time I ever played Football Manager. Was at that when I sat down with this other guy. There'd been, everyone been taking over the teams. I'm sitting there, I'm like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? And it's not a game you can just jump on, really, like FIFA, and you can just pick up the thing and like. So you're just there, and I found it a bit boring, to be honest.
We'll take a couple more questions before we go. Skipper wants to know the best 80s TV program. I'm going Quantum Leap.
I love Quantum Leap.
When he used to whack Ziggy.
Ziggy.
Yeah.
Ziggy said, no, that was great.
Sam Beck.
Yeah. Hoping the next leap will be the leap home.
There's a lot of good ones. I mean, like, it's TV program. It depends. Obviously, there's different categories. Comedy.
I used to love the 18, Airwolf, Street Hawk,
Magnum, PI,
Magnum,
Cheers,
TJ Hooker,
Yeah, there's different. It depends, like cartoons.
The Equaliser. I used to like the original Equaliser. Edward Woodward.
Yeah, like there's
the Professionals. I used to watch that as well. The Professionals.
But was Minder wasn't 90s?
Was it? That started in the 70s. Eh?
No, someone said, Gladiators. I think, like Matt said, Paul, that's 90s. Been some Gladiators, but Minder was definitely 80s. Yeah, no, I liked it. I was recently watching that WandaVision on Disney Plus, which is a new Marvel show, and it's really good because each episode it's like themed, like set, like first it's like a 50s show, and it reminds you of like Bewitched. It's in the style of Bewitched, and it'll be like 70s. And then you eventually, it's like the 80s, and they really get the feel of those era of shows. It's been nice to see you past.
I don't know what happened there. What happened there?
No, I don't know.
It just went like, my screen just went, all 3 squares went like black, and then just like kicked me out. But
it flashed up. There was 2 squares with you on it.
Oh, Celebrity Squares. Buy one, get one
Celebrity
free.
Squares.
The Arter twins. But yeah, look, I think we'll leave that there. It's gone on long enough tonight, and it's getting late. It's been good. Thank you so much for Michael Breach for coming on.
Yeah,
thanks to Nicky for joining us for 2 seconds.
Yeah, Nicky come on for 2 seconds. But yeah, look, just before we go, as I said before in the middle of the show, keep donating to the £1 for Isle of Fun. The link is in the description below. And yeah, we'll leave it there. Roll on Sunday. We'll be back Sunday for watch along, fan cams, post-match pint. Let's hope we're all happy. Get the 3 points, get the much needed win, push us up the table, put us 9 points clear of them lot, and we'll all be happy hammers.
Drop a like, yeah.
Yes, we will.
Yeah, drop a like.
Brian, someone said any update on your pursuit to be an extra on EastEnders. I see this on the Twitters.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard much back yet. To be fair, I haven't really been chasing it up. My life's all over the place at the moment with moving house. I tell you what, don't ever buy an house. It's the most stressful thing I've ever seen, ever done in my life. It's doing my nuts.
Where are you moving to? Like, obviously, without
only up the road, 10 minutes up the road. Like, but I'm moving into a house, so I'll be getting out of this flat into a house. But honestly, it's been a stressful few. The first bit was all right. It's been the last 3 or 4 weeks because it's like 3 people involved in a chain. So I'm getting there. Hopefully next week it'll all be done. So this will be my last Friday night pint for a couple of weeks. So you won't have me next week, and there's probably people cheering that decision. So
anyway. you need to be the guy on EastEnders, Brian. You need to be one of the market stall traders that when they bugger off, they say, "Can you mind my stall?" when they chuck them the bloody coin thing.
I'll be that's what we were saying last week. I said I just want to be like in the Vic playing a fruit machine or something, in the cafe having a nice little cheeky cup of tea, wherever. I think it'd be nice. It'd be a dream. But Graham, as always, mate, you know I always give you the last word. Any Graham's wise words, Graham's wisdom. As you want to
I say what I say every week. Be kind to each other. It makes the world a nicer place.
I'm just going to bring this comment up here. Silverhammer, stop moaning. Some people are homeless. What a ridiculous comment that is. What an absolutely ridiculous comment that is. Do you know what, mate?
But what's it in relation to?
Yeah, what's it? Because I was talking about it's stressful buying a house.
Oh,
that's what I'm saying, mate. People like that just do my head in.
Yeah,
Sorry. I haven't been out of work since I left school. I think I'm entitled to a bit of,
Yeah, but it's all relative, isn't it? It's like saying it's like moaning about the weather, and you're like, oh, it's bloody cold today, innit? And you go, well, stop moaning. Some people live in Antarctica. It's all relative.
I just don't like comments like that. You know what I mean? I've been sitting here all night, and we've been doing things for Isla and all that, and then you get a stupid comment like that because it's like you can't say like, oh, so just fucking ridiculous. Well, good way to end the show. What a prick, absolute prick. And if you follow me on Twitter, message me on Twitter as well, you prick. It's really pissed me off that. Fuck them. All right, we'll leave it there.
Saying very nice.
See you on Sunday. Take care. Come on, your irons.